Hello, this is chapter 15 and it's about IP static root. So we're going to deal with the static root, how to assign the IP, assign or configure the static root. So the areas to cover, we have static root, static roots, and then configure IP static root, configure IP default root, then configure floating root, and then configure static host root. So with static, and of which in chapter actually explained this in chapter the previous chapter, which is chapter 14. So types of static root, we have standard static root, default static root, floating, and then somewhere. And all these roots, if you are to configure them, we have to use the keyword command, the command in global configuration mode as IP, then root, that is for IP version 4. Then for IP version 6, it's IP v6, then root. With static root they use actually, we're supposed to the IP, for example, IP root, and then you state the destination network together with the subnet mask, and then we can either use the two, I'll call next hop address or the exit interface. So here we have next hop options that we can use the next hop root, we can use directly connected static root, or we can use the fully specified static root. So in next hop, we have to specify the next hop IP address. In directly connected, we have to use the exit interface on the router where we're configuring the root. Then fully specified, we have to combine the two. As you can see, it's next hop IP address together with exit interface. So the syntax of the command, we have IP root, it's a mask, that is for IP v4. So it's IP, the network address, the subnet mask, and then here we have option. It's either this next hop or the exit interface. And then we can actually use the distance. Now the distance here, that is when you're dealing with what you call floating static, the static root. Either the IP address or exit interface, they can be used, or IP and exit interface together. That is fully configured, and then this is next hop, this is the directly connected. For IPv6, as you can see, it is here, IP version 6, so it's IPv6 root, then the prefix, and then prefix length, and then still the same, the next hop IP address or the exit. So here we have the topology, and this is the topology that is going to be used slouch all the what you're going to look at the different types of static root, because this session, it is about static root. So as you can see, it's almost the same as you having a router here like this, and then you have another router with this LAN, and then this. So it's the same. It's the same here. This. Yeah, this. This is router 2. This is router 1 and 3. So the network addresses, they are here. They are here. So as you're trying to go through this recording, please you make sure that you set up something like this. The way it is, duplicate it from the slide or from the recording, and you have it in Packet Tracer so that you can easily use it. Once you're able to actually design this to set up this, and you're able to configure it, then you'll be good to go, or you'll be good in static routing. So here, the static routing table, after you configuring the whatever that we have here, the directly connected networks, as you can see on router 1, we have only Cs. We have this, we have this two networks on router 1. And where is it? We have this and then this. Even on this, when it comes to R3, we have 3, this. When it comes to this, we have this and then this. So with static, if you're to create the routes, you have to create the routes to reach the networks that are not directly connected to one. So that network, we have this as this 1.0. Then we have, sorry, this is 172, this is 9, and then this is 9. So it's this network, this router, it is missing this network, it's missing this, and then lastly, this. So if you are to create the static route, we have to create 3 of them. We have to create 3 of them. Now, if I want to create for this, okay, I will just use this one, router 1, and then you can use the knowledge to do on router 2 and then router 3. So on other one, I'll just, so this is the topology, almost as the other one, because I wanted space where I can write that. On R1, as on R1, we need these networks. Because on R1, we are missing, R1 is not, this network is not directly connected to R1, even this, and then this. So if you have to create the route, we have to create a route for all those networks, this. So I will just start with this, that you have to say 19 IP route, and then the address, which is 172.1.6 then dot 1 dot 0 slash, sorry, not slash, but 255 then dot 0, then you state the next hop or the exit interface. The next hop here, use the IP address that is stated here on this point. For example, let's assume that it is, it's what, anyway, it's a 2. So it will be 172.1.6, then dot 1, then dot, actually not dot 1, because as you can see, it's a 2. So it's a 2.2. So this is the IP address on this. But don't forget that we are even missing this other network. So the statement, it will be the same, YIP, then root 192.168.1.0, then the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. The next hop, it's going to remain the same, because as you can see, you have to go through this point to reach this network. Through this point, you reach this. So it will be the same here. Even here, the third, now we need this, the third one. So it will be 192.168.2.0. The subnet mask is the same, 255.255.255, then dot 0. The next stop is the same. That is on R1. So when it comes to R2, now R2 is missing this network here, because this is our R2, but it's missing this network here. This, and then this. So you have to do the same, but this time, as you can see, you will point the network here, IP route, then the network address, which is this, subnet mask. The next stop, which will be this IP address here, 2.1 here. But then for this other one, now it will be in another direction. That it will be this one here, the subnet mask, but the next stop, it's going to be this IP address, which is a 1.1 here. 1.1. So we have all this. I just wanted to demonstrate here so that you get to know where they're coming from. So that was just a summary. So here, as you can see, we have starting this, then we have IPv6, because remember our topology it has both IPv4 and IPv6. So for IPv4, you will have to use this command, show IP root. Then when it comes to IPv6, it show IPv6 root. Okay, so configure IP static root. That is what I'm from summarizing. That on R1 the statement is here. On R1 it's here that it's IP root, then this subnet mask, then the next hop IP address. Since that all the missing networks are in one direction, that's the reason why you're saying next hop is the same, but the networks are the ones that are different. And then after that, you can run the command show IP root. Instead of you having actually, because in the first place was actually seeing two networks, but this time we are seeing even the three other entries, the one that we added. These are the three entries. See? So for IPv6, it is still the same, but if you have to deal with IPv6, don't forget this command, IPv6, then unicast routing. So it will allow IPv6 packets to be routed. So still the syntax is the same, IPv6 root, then the destination network, then the next hop address. For the three, as you can see, that the next hop is the same. This is the same as this and this. What does that imply? That they're in the same direction. Remember, our topology is in this format. This and then this and then this. Connected here and then this, like this, and then this. So the missing network on other one, it's this point, this, and then this, through this as the next hop. Then we have the directly connected. This time we are going to use exit interface, not the next hop IP address, but the rest remain the same. So just by repressing the next hop and then you use the exit. Our topology, it's in this format. This, then here, and then here, and then this. So instead of using the next hop here on this, the next hop, we shall use exit interface. And as you can see, it's just an interface, exit interface. And it's the same, that to reach all these networks, remote networks, you have to go through the same interface. And it's this one here, as you can see, self-explanatory. And even that, once you run the show IP root, you'll be able to see the extra S entries, SS, on top of the connected. The connected, it's this and then this. And then when it comes to IPv6 directly connected static, it's still the same, but the difference is that we have to use the exit interface instead of next hop IPv6. Specified static root, that here we have to use both. It's the exit interface, as you can see. We have exit interface together with the next hop. That is what you call fully specified static root. And fully specified IPv6 fully specified. So it is here that you have to the IPv6 root, the network address, then the prefix, and then you can use the link local that is on this interface. Actually, this one here, because you use the next, not this. So the interface has to be specified for link next hop. Okay, so it's here. As you can see, we have a one and then this. Okay. So for this one here on router 1, as you can see, it is a 2, which means that it's this other opposite. So it's the exit, which is this. It's here. As you can see, it is this. And then with the next hop IP, next hop link local address. So you can even go ahead and show IPv6 root to begin with this, and it's here. Verifying static root, Verifying static routes. So we have to use the command show IP route, then static show IP route, then you can put the network show running section IP route, all this. But if you have to deal with IPv4, deal with IP flat. To deal with IPv6, use version 6. Configure IP default static, IP static. So the default static, it's actually in different form, the format that with static, it can actually, you can actually use it in this direction from the service provider, and then you state IP, let me use this, IP route, the network, because it's from the service provider, 172.168.3.0, then 255 dot 0. The exit interface, as you can see, you can either use an exit interface or the next of. Let me use exit interface. Serial 0, 1, and then 0. That is from the service provider. Because service provider, his intention is to reach this stub network, this network that belongs to a single individual. But now when it comes to this side of the individual, for us we need to reach actually so many networks. There's Facebook network, WhatsApp, blah, blah, so many networks. So for us this time we're going to use IP route, which is the default. Here we're going to use the default static. I'm giving, actually trying to show the default, how to state the default route and the scenarios when do we need the two, default and then static. So it's IP route. Instead of specifying the network and it becomes static, I will not use that. I will just say 0 because I'm not specifying any network. 0, 0, 0. Then the subnet mask still it's 0, 0, 0, 0, and then exit interface, which is this one here, serial 0/1/0. So this one here, it will allow us to go beyond the internet here, connect on this network, connect on this, reach the other one, reach this different network. But from the service provider, the route that is stated, it's to reach only this network, only. Okay, so here the syntax, default static, what it means, the zeros, and then the subnet mask 0. So the 0 in the root will match any network. It will match any network that we have not stated on this. So that any, because here we have not created a route for specific network beyond the service provider, meaning that it will match any network that we need. So every time you have internet access, you can reach any network that you want. So the basic command syntax for IPv4, it's here IP routes, the 0, this 4 zeros as the network, 4 zeros as the subnet, either next stop IP address or exit. So still we have IPv6 default static. Now that there are zeros, and you guys, you know how to abbreviate the zeros, so it is this. It is abbreviated that way, IPv6 route, and then full double colon /0, either the next hop IP address or exit interface. They are here that this is for IPv4, and then this is IPv6, the real example. So we have verifying default static. Once you verify the default site, show IP route static. So we have here, so it has to come with S with a static. S then with a static.